All right, let's talk about it. The world of trading. I mean, it's got this allure, right? The excitement, the strategy, and yeah, for those who are skilled, or maybe just a little lucky, the financial rewards. It's a really powerful dream, this idea that you can master the markets, all from your own desk.
So, you've probably seen all the ads, right? You've heard the stories, and maybe you're sitting there thinking, you know what? I can do this. You're all fired up, you're motivated, you pop open your browser, and you search for a guide to get started.
And this is what you find: How to Starting Successful Trading. Yeah, I read that exactly as it's written. Believe it or not, that's the title of our source material for this whole explainer.
Now, I know what you're thinking. You're tempted to just laugh and click away, right? But hold on, we're not going to do that. Today, we're actually going to treat this one troublesome title as our primary source. We're going to see what it can teach us. Not so much about trading, but about something way more important: how to find advice you can actually trust.
I mean, let's just look at this one more time, really slow. How to starting successful trading. Wow, it's not even just one typo. It's two pretty big mistakes all packed into a tiny 5-word headline. Look, we all make typos, I get it. But when you're talking about a guide on a super high-stakes, detail-oriented subject like financial trading, and it can't even get its own title right, that's kind of like a pilot coming over the intercom slurring their words. It just doesn't fill you with a lot of confidence about the journey ahead, you know? It's a huge warning shot. And that's really the key here. We have to learn how to read these signals. This isn't just me being a grammar nerd. It's about building up a healthy bit of skepticism, the kind that protects you in an online world that's just full of so-called experts. Just think about the stakes for a second. Some studies show that something like 90% of new day traders lose money. I mean, when you're up against odds like that, the quality of your information isn't just important, it's literally everything. Trusting the wrong guide, that could be a really, really expensive mistake. So, this gives us a pretty simple 4-step checklist for spotting bad advice. And our little guide here, How to Starting Successful Trading, well, it fails spectacularly at step 1, professionalism. And you know, when a source trips over that first, most basic hurdle, it's a really strong sign it's going to fail the other tests too. You can almost guarantee it's full of vague promises from some anonymous person with zero mention of the actual risks. Okay, so if that's what we need to run away from, what should we be running towards? What does credible, trustworthy guidance actually look like? Let's break it down. All right, here it is, a side-by-side comparison. On one side, you have the red flags, on the other, the green flags. So instead of grammatical errors, you want to see stuff that's clearly been edited, maybe even peer-reviewed. Instead of those vague, pie-in-the-sky promises, you're looking for claims backed up by actual data. An anonymous author? That's a huge red flag. You want someone with credentials you can actually check. And honestly, this might be the most important one. If there's no clear discussion of risk, just run. Seriously. Real experts know the risks inside and out, and they talk about them with an objective tone, not a bunch of emotional hype. And this brings us to what might be the single most important takeaway from all of this. Before you even think about trading a single dollar, there's another trade you have to make first, and that's a trade in information. There's this core concept in finance called information asymmetry. It's basically just a fancy way of saying that in any deal, one person knows more than the other. And when you click on a guide titled How to Starting Successful Trading, guess what? You are on the losing side of that asymmetry. The person who made it knows it's low-quality, sloppy content. But you, the person who's genuinely trying to learn, you don't. So here's the bottom line. Your very first and probably most profitable trade has nothing to do with stocks. It's this one, right here. It's the decision to trade in that blind, hopeful faith for a more critical, skeptical mindset. That is the one trade that will protect every other trade you ever make. And really, that's what this all boils down to. Everyone's in a hurry to risk their capital to get into the game. But the real question is this: are you willing to invest your time first? Your time and your attention to get really good at spotting bad information. Because trust me, that's the foundation that every single successful trader is built on.